The air card, is that what you're referring to?
No, use their tethering capabilities, but
Okay.
Same thing, data plan.
Yeah.
It's all the same limit.
Okay. Well, yeah, for those of you who don't know, there's a 5 gig data limit on air cards and smartphones. Smartphones that tether. Smartphones that don't tether, I've yet to see, you said you had one, was yours tethering?
No.
It wasn't, okay. All right, then you're the first one I've heard of that got charged for overage. Okay.
Went out and looked at the bill and said, why is it so high?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So the 5 gig, and then I had the text messages, so it was a double whammy, and it was not good.
I understand. The situation that you're referring to, the truck drivers, I have a lot of truck drivers who use this. As a matter of fact, when I work in Anderson, and there's a Canadian trucking company down in Anderson. They have one of their U.S. ports or stopping places and shipping terminals is in Anderson. And so we have a lot of Canadian truck drivers that have Verizon service through us, and we have to tell them as soon as they cross that border, stop using it, because then you go into global roaming data, and that's not cool. That's very, very pricey. The reason it's pricey is because we don't put a whole lot of money into putting those towers up there in Canada, so it's running off of borrowed service, borrowed network. I have a lot of truck drivers who have that service and use those devices in that way. Very, very few of them go over the 5 gigs. I have gone over 5 gigs on mine, but that was only because my baby brother, my 23-year-old brother, was watching a lot of video on my computer while I was at work, and he should have been working. So streaming video and gaming will kill it. I've seen a $15,000 data bill on gaming. World of Warcraft will kick your tail. Yes, 15 grand.
And there's a miner in Canada, and he was actually from closer to Toronto where they had normal internet service, but it was one of those far, far north mines, and 3G was the only way to get internet out there.
Yeah.
So he used that for his entire internet for a month, and his bill was close to 40 grand.
Yeah, I can only imagine. But that being said, of the people who use it for that, very few of them are actually going to go over 5 gigs. And the other reason that we call it unlimited, but we're all trained to explain the unlimited part, the reason we call it unlimited is you guys know what gigs are. You guys know how to measure data, right? 95% of the customers out there that walk in my store don't have a clue what a gig is. If you tell them we're limiting you to 5 gigs, they get the deer in the headlights look like, what? What is that? How many minutes is that? 5. It's 5 minutes. That's all you can do. Yes.
Just out of curiosity, can you monitor on your website how much data you used on your phone over the course of the month?
Absolutely.
If they wanted to look, they could see like halfway through the month and see that you're already at 3 or 4 gigs. And
it's not real-time current. It's current up to midnight the night before. But yes, you can see it absolutely. You can see that on any device and on any air card, on any computer, using any computer. You can always see, and also Verizon customers have access to their My Verizon website where they can always see it in real time as well. I've got a data use widget on mine.
There's a My Verizon widget, app on the store that will tell you that too.
Yeah. Well, and I also downloaded a unit converter because I have a lot of people say, where am I on my data? And I've got a unit converter on my phone, which is great. It'll convert any unit into any unit, which is fantastic because my brain will do that if it's properly trained, and it's not. So I use the unit converter to translate kilobytes into gigabytes and the like. Very few people actually go over. So that is a marketing thing. I know that AT&T has now gone to limited data plans, and a lot of people are overwhelmed by that. They're intimidated by the fact that they're paying $40 for 2 gigs. They're intimidated by that, and they rightly should be, because 2 gigs is actually pretty easy to reach on a phone, and you could probably be looking at some scary bills. But we've had a lot of people come to us and ask us, I'm in an iPhone, but now I'm limited to 2 gigs. What does that mean to me? I don't know. I don't know what that means to you, because all of us could be given a smartphone. Everybody in here could be given a smartphone, and at the end of the month, we'll all have greatly varying uses because we use it in different ways. We use it for different things. Jace may stay on his 10 hours a day, I can stay on mine too, and I can still use more data than he does. And that's kind of hard to explain to people who don't have their brains trained to think that way. So that's why unlimited is tagged on those plans, yes?
And another asterisk is you're using the data on the Verizon network. If you're using your own wireless, it doesn't count against it.
That's true. If you're logging on to somebody's Wi-Fi signal, it doesn't count as your data. Yeah, it doesn't count as your data. So if you've got like charter internet at home and you've got a Wi-Fi signal, if you're routing out to daughter's laptop or something, use your smartphone to latch onto that Wi-Fi signal. Yeah, it's a real good way to get around the data use. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, I have a Sprint phone, and so I'm familiar with some of what Sprint has, and I don't always know how to compare it to Verizon. But I know Sprint on the Droid, they have a plan where you can get for $29 a month. You can get the I guess it's like a Wi-Fi that lets you hook up to 8 devices.
Yeah, the tethering.
How would that compare to what Verizon does? Because I do have a friend who uses her phone as a modem, and she pays an extra $30 a month with Verizon, and only gets one phone. And I didn't know if...
Well, my job with people who have questions like that is to figure out exactly what it is you're trying to do. Tell me in English what you're trying to do with your phone, because what you want for your use in your personal life, for productivity, for business, for personal use, for your house, your car, wherever you are, what you're wanting is probably different from what your friend is actually using it for, and there's a disconnect in there. So she's telling you what she's getting, what she's paying for, what she's using, and it might be different from you. So what I have to do is translate it. Now, to answer your question, you can tether on devices. It's an additional $30 like your friend is doing. There are some devices that will allow you to tether to more devices, but that's a hardware issue. If you have the right machine, it will do that. Your friend's phone is probably one that requires a USB cord and actually has to be hardwired to the device that it's powering. We now have devices that will, we now have handsets that will tether using a Wi-Fi signal. And I'm not real sure, I probably danced around your question a little bit.
Well, what would, for my friend who has BlackBerry, would it not, do you have the Wi-Fi device?
Yes, I have a Wi-Fi device at my house. That's my internet solution.
Beneficial to her since the single one she has now is the older technology now, fairly slow.
She's tethering her phone to her computer?
Yeah, she'll tether her phone to her computer. She pays $30 a month. She doesn't hook to the computer.
The situation she would be looking at if she got into a Wi-Fi would be an additional $30 a month. The Wi-Fi itself is $60. She's already paying $30, which is not optional. It has to happen on the BlackBerry. So she's going to be paying the $30 data plan for her BlackBerry, which goes where she goes. And then she's got the MiFi, which she uses for something completely different than her handset. So that's why I say I have to ask questions to find out what's your end result that you're looking for.
What she's doing is like the best for her right now.
If that's what, unless she's running into some hiccups and not able to do everything she wants to do, you'll find that with tethering, sometimes a phone call will mess up your signal. It's going to interrupt your connection. So if that's your only option is to tether through your device, through your handset, it may not work for everybody, and I actually discourage people from using that as their only option. I like to use it as an option, but not your only option. Yes?
Question about, you were talking about LTE earlier.
Yes.
Currently with CDMA and CDMS 3G, you can't have, you just mentioned it, you can't have data and a phone call going on at the same time.
Correct.
Unless, of course, you were connected to Wi-Fi and then you're pushing your data over that. Is that going to be an issue with LTE? If I was in a non-Wi-Fi area, could I do data and phone at the same time?
I'm pretty sure that is something you can do, yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know with any certainty, but I think it is. I think that's something that we were looking toward.
Because it's not admitting any guilt here, but I could kill a person if they called me when I was tethered and downloading a relatively large file.
There's an application you can get to kill your phone.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
Just setting one of the registers.
Yeah, it's actually setting in your phone too. You can adjust it.
It says no phone on tether.
While tethering.
Well, that's probably an option on phones that are supposed to tether in the first place.
Well, the Droid can tether, so it's an option on your phone.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll find that. But yes, that is something that's probably coming down the pipe. Another exciting thing that's coming down the pipe too is devices in the fourth quarter that will be capable of video phone calls. Isn't that neat? Just take that in for a second. Video phone calls. Yeah. We have the droids that we have right now are not global. They only work on CDMA. Now there are several languages for mobile devices. CDMA is the one that Verizon uses in the US. GSM is one that's more global. GSM is what's commonly known as using the SIM card. AT&T is the GSM network. Sprint or Nextel is an IDEN network. Verizon is CDMA. Our phones are not global. But if you were to be in Paris, if you were to find yourself in a Parisian cafe and they have Wi-Fi, you can make a Skype phone call. It cannot be a Skype video call right now because we don't have devices. You'd be doing something a little like this. Hi. What's going on? That's a little awkward. So they are coming up with devices that actually have the camera on the front so you can do video calls. I think that's kind of neat. I mean, not that I need people looking at me every time I'm talking to them, but yes.
I've downloaded Skype to my phone, and my phone has a front-facing camera.
Okay.
But from what I understand, Skype does not have the ability, on the Droid at least, to do video yet.
Not yet, that's right, but that's coming down the pipe as well.
So there's also a Skype problem as well as the phones themselves.
Correct. And the reason that it's not out quite yet is because Skype hasn't seen a need for it until now. Until now that those devices are finding their way to the market. Yeah. But now you've got R&D going into that, so that's good for everybody. The stuff that our devices are going to do in the next 2 years blows my mind. I can't imagine what they're going to do, 5, 10 years down the road. I'm in a business networking group over in Spartanburg, and one of the guys that I just sold a Droid X to is in my group. He does integrated home technology systems. He's the guy who can tell your blinds to lower and your lights to shut down and your big screen television to come on all in the flip of one button. Integrated home technology. He's got a system where, UCLUG has got an application that will allow you to lock your doors while you're sitting at that Parisian cafe. You can have a text message sent to your phone when the motion sensor goes off in your living room, and it'll send you a picture text of what just happened in your living room.
I think it'll change the setting on your air conditioner too, right?
Yeah, you can do a lot of things. You can pretty much with a specialist like Greg, my friend that I was just referring to, he can allow you to do pretty much anything from your mobile device. That is unbelievable to me. I can't wrap my brain around that quite yet. Yes.
But there's also software that you can get that's available now that you can have the camera, webcam at home, and it's motion detection. It'll send you a text message.
It will send you a text message. Yeah, I was with a guy in West Virginia who got a picture of his cat jumping off the couch.
Yeah.
Forgot to turn the motion sensor off. When you have a cat inside, that's probably something you need to do. Anybody else? Anybody else have any questions? All right, well, I thank you. I know I didn't wow you, but thank you for your patience and your understanding, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Shelley. And she brought some business cards. She didn't say this, so if you want to go to Verizon and make an appointment with her, she'll be glad to. I mean, she informed me of so much stuff, anyway. So feel free to come by and get a business card for her or make an appointment. She's just as wonderful in person as she is right up in front of a bunch of people. So, and now, do we have